Hey, what's up, party people? Welcome to yet another holiday pre-tape episode of SJU. Although I'm just now remembering this is probably the first holiday pre-tape we're going to air, even though we've been filming a bunch of them. So, yeah, this is allegedly Monday, December 20th, but we've been filming a bunch of these for a while. So if we seem a little loopy, that's because it's the afternoon and we all just want to go on vacation. But let's talk about wigs.
You
Wigs.
wanted it. You got it. No one wanted it. I wanted it.
Threatening you with this episode for a long time, specifically Danielle, as a wig chat comes up quite often in the writers' room and on this show. There's a lot of good ones, a lot of bad ones, a lot of iconic ones, and we're going to do a deep wig dive today, and we hope you'll come along with us. We also have some news, I guess, that'll probably be old by the time you see this, but it's new to us right now. This will date it. We all just watched that Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent Nick Cage trailer. We'll talk about that because you couldn't go to Christmas without knowing what we thought about that trailer. It's cool. Also, there's some really cool Michelle Yeoh A24 Kung Fu movie coming out that we want to talk about, and we got another little peek behind the curtain of Pandora, baby. You know that's where I want to be. Specifically, the reef-dwelling Na'vi clan known as the Metkayina. So we're also going to spend a little time with the Metkayina and take some fan questions if we have time. And then Kim actually has a junket for The Matrix 4. So she talked to somebody involved with that film. Stick around till the end to find out. But we begin with wigs, folks. Danielle, teach these devils. What is your fascination with wigs? What makes a good wig? And what are some of your favorites that you'd like to show us today?
All right. Well, I'm about to open some third eyes. Get your third eye open. So my frustration with Hollywood wigs is that you have money and you can spend money and you can make fake hair look better. Because if you go onto any random wig person's Instagram account, YouTube account, people are making wigs that look like they come straight off of your head and with no money. And so one of the frustrating things to me,
I'm sorry, how do they do that? Where do they I have a lot of questions on how you make a great wig?
No. Tell me.
Steal hair. Where does the hair come from?
Well, spells. So yes, spells. You trap a little boy and a little girl with a trail of candy. Well, no, like it's you can buy hair on, the
dark web.
Yeah, on the dark web.
Yeah, the dark web. Well, no, and some people do make their own wigs. But you can buy cheap synthetic hair on different websites. And there are techniques and I can't get into all of them here, but I know them all, where it's like, oh, well, this one has a parting space, but that looks super fake. So you pluck the parting a little bit so that it looks like not quite as perfect. And then you can, like, underneath the wig, you put in some concealer or something like that. And then the parting space looks perfect. You do, Spencer, you do straight backs. You do some,
yeah, you tell me.
You do some, you do some cornrows to get the hair straight and all the way back, and then you put the wig cap over it. You put the wig on top. You can glue it on. You can flatten it out. There are so many techniques for making a wig look like it literally is coming out of your head, and people are doing this for under $30.
Okay.
And so the fact that these places have these massive budgets and they can't make the wigs look good is like.
Well, help us out with a visual aid. Let's take us through what it looks like when wigs go wrong. What's your first wig selection up here?
All right. Well, if we're talking about, and I could do an entire episode on bad Tyler Perry wigs, so I'm not going to do all of it. But if we are talking about an example, a classic example of one of the worst wigs I've ever seen, it is in the movie Diary of a Mad Black Woman, the character of Orlando, played by Shamar Moore. Who is wearing
oh dear
who is wearing a cornrow wig, which is apparently a thing.
That's pretty bad. Yeah.
Now, you said you began your initial kind of thesis statement of like, these productions have so much money to throw around, but I don't think that's true of a Tyler Perry show.
No. Like that's the frustrating thing about Tyler Perry, is that everyone gives him like oh no, it's like he doesn't have like it's low budget, blah blah blah. Dude has a White House. He can
he
afford
lives
a wig.
In the Delta headquarters that he turned into
He
his home or
has
something.
his own on ramp, off ramp. Like,
Yeah.
he can afford to.
You don't get that
wig.
rich by wasting all your money on wigs, Danielle.
Ah.
Avocado toast.
Well, no, and that's the problem is that like he's like, I'm gonna write everything I do myself because I don't like paying writers, and also whatever that nonsense is. See, they have to cover it with the hairband.
That's the trick. Yeah, that will appear in one of my wig selections later.
that is amazing. Wait, that's not a daytime soap. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. No. It's Shamar Moore, so you don't know. Yeah, no. So that is one of the worst ones. I can literally do this all day.
Well,
I want to
give
Steve
Eric
Rogers.
I want to give Eric a chance to toss a wig into the mix, and I'll go next. But then Danielle, you can take it away after that. Eric, what do you got wig wise?
I'm mostly here to react because I've said before I'm really bad at spotting bad wigs. Like a lot of times people say, "Oh, that awful wig." I'll go, "Oh, it was a wig." But one does jump out at me immediately. We had the conversation a couple days ago off air, which was Kate Mara's reshoot wig in Fantastic Four 2015, a movie beset by problems. They reshot about half the movie, and you can tell what scenes she reshot because they worked hard on her hair for the part they shot initially. And when she came back filming another project, she looked totally different. They slapped something on her, said, get out there and film something. And it is, it's kind of amazing. And the fact that it's such a symbol of like a movie that was that excessively changed to no avail.
And it's tricky. It's not fully coming across in photos because you have to see this wig in action or in action rather.
Right.
Because it's just, there's something, I don't know what the uncanny valley is for hair, but there's a staticness to it that really comes
stiff.
across.
Yeah, we call it stiff.
You'll believe a woman can be invisible, but you will not believe that she has real hair.
That's where you draw the line.
Look, that parting space is supposed to be invisible. The hairline's supposed to blend. Yeah. It's just her hair is stiff. Like she's got stiff hair. You can see like one of the big tricks is when you look at someone's hairline, and again you look at like the parting space and around that, like that's a huge way to tell. And yeah, it looks like Barbie doll hair.
Well, I'm going to bring one into the mix that initially I thought was a bad wig. I'm talking about Gary Oldman as Drexel the Pimp in True Romance. But the more I think about this wig, I feel like it fits that the character would have gotten this wig in universe. Like Drexel, I think actually this is part of like Drexel the Pimp's, like he puts this on in the morning.
Drexel
it's not supposed to
be pretty good. Yeah,
it's not supposed to be like a natural like he just sat that alien face hugger on top of his head and just like roll with it because he's made of accessories. The man is just made of different like flotsam and jetsam, like from character traits. Like he's doing a weird like Brooklyn by way of Louisiana Cajun accent, and he's got sort of a grill, and he's got all this jewelry, and I don't know. Not a lot about Drexel makes sense, except he does make perfect sense at the same time. And I think that he probably got this wig, next to Clarence's comic book shop, and just put it on. So I think it's actually a good wig now.
Yeah, I had to limit myself with how many braid wigs that I included because most of them are not good.
Could be a subcategory.
It could be a subcategory.
Charlize Theron in Fate of the Furious.
Oh yeah.
So I had to like limit myself, but yeah, like that is.
And you'll notice in his most iconic scene, not that well, I guess throughout the movie, he's also wearing a leather beret, as you do in the 90s to obscure the hairline. But that really helps cover a lot of sins is when you throw a hat or a bandana around there.
Berets and cankles.
Yeah.
Get you a cankle hat.
Danielle, what's your next wig that you'd like to bring to the table?
Oh, I've talked about this a bunch, but I'm gonna keep talking about it. Venom 1 was just a tragedy crime for wigs. But you like the movie so much and everything in it is kind of a tragedy crime, but you enjoy it. That is Oh,
I don't understand this wig because Michelle Williams has lovely hair, and it's not like the comic book character you had to stay
Yeah,
fidelious to her hair.
yeah, it's like I've talked about this where it's not like she's a Gwen Stacy or a Mary Jane Watson, where it's like you have this like very iconic hair and it's got to be important. I almost included like some Storm wigs in there, but like um, there is no reason for her hair to look like this. Like you could just have it be her hair and no one would care.
Strange. But I think you also, this movie saves the best wig for last, which they pivoted away from. I'm so sorry we didn't get this the whole time. He looks like Pennywise's uncle. Like there's just something so silly about this one. I'm so sad.
Yeah, this because like I said, I've got bad wigdar, and so Michelle Williams I didn't even clock when I was first watching Venom, but this, I mean, it's not just that we know what he looks like, it just, whoever picked this, it felt like, oh man, would he agree to do the post-credit scene? Do we have anything for him?
Yeah, someone get down to the swap meet.
This was the one where they, I feel like they did get scared of being too different from the character because Carnage, Cletus, the very bright red, a lot of red hair. It's like, well, we have to do neon red curls, otherwise the fans won't know who we're talking about. Also have him say the word Carnage, even if it doesn't really make sense in the sentence.
Many times as possible, yes.
I feel a sequel coming, Eddie. A sequel.
Yeah. Speaking of red, on the red spectrum wigs, I'm gonna bring some up that were not. I'm a little naive. I didn't realize these were wigs. Leeloo Dallas in The Fifth Element. I thought that was her hair. I thought that was like she actually got that dye job, but I think that was the reason why it wasn't her real hair, is because if you really color your hair like that and you're not like already, I guess, platinum blonde, then like all your hair is going to fall out. So you need to basically do a wig if you're going to go orange sci-fi hair, which is a shame because I thought that is an iconic hairstyle in film.
The bangs are a dead giveaway. Again, it's the bangs and then the stiffness of the Barbie doll hair. This is one of those ones where it's like, it's not good, but I love the movie so much that I give it a pass.
Yeah.
Leeloo Dally multi-pass.
Leeloo Dally multi-pass for sure.
But it's another one where I know the time period we're talking about, and so I do give it a little bit of like, it's fine. But yeah, it's not. But the rest of the movie is so stylized that it's one of those ones where it's like, okay, like it's everything is, she's like an angel that doesn't know what love is or whatever. So
another Gary Oldman movie, by the way.
That's right. It's a common theme.
Yeah.
And also
he also has bad hair in this. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if that's it. I wonder if that's Zorg is his real hair. I'm not sure. Probably not. It's probably a bald cap and a mop. I also did not know on this theme. I had no idea that Sean Connery is wearing a wig in every James Bond movie. It's a toupee
from the beginning. That is amazing.
Yeah. From the start. I mean,
because I certainly knew by Never Say Never Again he was wearing a toupee. But.
Yeah. I mean, I just watched all the Sean Connery James Bond movies, and I don't know. I think it's just it fooled me. But I think just because I don't think of James Bond as a bald man. Right. I think he's like the image of masculine virility, even though I know Sean Connery's bald. Like, I don't know. It just didn't make sense in my mind. So props. Wow. Now that you see the pictures, now it's so clear.
Yeah. I will say, like in motion, and it like, especially for the time period. This one's not that bad. Yeah. It's pretty good.
Yeah, and everybody's hair was just like stuck in place back then, so it was probably easier to hide a toupee when like everything was covered in like Crisco oil or whatever you did in the 50s and 60s. I don't.
Have you ever seen? I can't remember if it's an actual photo or just some art, but when they considered putting a wig on Picard, on Patrick Stewart on Next Gen, there's some imagery out there, and it's all wrong as you might expect. It's like thank God that decision was not made.
Eric, did you have any more? Or
the only other thing I had was a complete honorable mention, only because not having good wigdar and not knowing when else I could bring this up. I did think of one of my favorite terrible bad facial hair in movie history, which is in one of my favorite all-time bad movies, Sleepaway Camp. It's not bad, it's amazing. But in Sleepaway Camp, there's a cop, and he shows up about halfway through, and he has a mustache. Then he's gone. He comes back at the end, and clearly something happened behind the scenes where that actor had shaved the mustache and didn't realize they need him back, because he comes back and that is what's on his face.
Did they like darken his eyebrows just to cover for the mustache?
Maybe. But this is right during the climax of the movie. A lot of big stuff's happening. You've seen Sleepaway Camp. A lot of very notable stuff is happening. But this guy still gets some special attention here.
He looks like, what's that like toy with, it's like the hairy, and it's like you have the little magnet pen and you can draw hair on him. He did that. That is wild.
This is it's amazing, because I've seen this movie a couple times in the theater and revival houses, and it's always a great moment when everyone is like gets the tittering through the audience as we all realize what we're looking at here.
That's so good.
Yeah, that's just Sharpie.
Yeah. And like at least they had the courage that Joss Whedon lacked to just do this to Henry Cavill. Or no, I guess it would have been the reverse. Mission Impossible, for them to just like take some shoe polish and smear it under his lip for that movie.
That's the Ted. We call that the old Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
If only.
Oh my.
Well, all right, Danielle, go off. What other wigs do we have? Do you have left in your bag of tricks?
Oh well, I have so many, but I'm gonna keep it short. Speaking of dudes that are bald that maybe a lot of people don't necessarily know about, in the movie The Fanatic, which 3 of us saw, the character played by John Travolta is named Moose. And
that was a special wig. Yeah.
That is
that is something.
It is real good. It's like a little alfalfa. Like, I'm not sure what's happening here. And John Travolta is the king of wigs. And some of them are terrible and some of them are great. And when he does the red carpet, they usually do pretty great. And I did feel bad because like he would do the red carpet and then people would like zoom in on his lace front, and I'm like, well, that's not fair. Like, if it looks okay, like don't betray the man's lace front. But that was one that definitely stood out. Another one for a movie that I think a lot of people did not see, but I actually really liked, was this movie starring Angelina Jolie called Life or Something Like It, where she plays a reporter named Lainey who's like, oh, you like him?
What the?
Oh, it gets worse.
I haven't seen this one. Oh boy, does she keep that batting helmet on? No, she doesn't.
No. Just straight, like, SNL does better wigs than this. Like, that's
much better wig.
And they do it in like 2 seconds. Like, you go behind and like I don't know how it works. I assume they have a team of people who strip you down and then build you back up. I don't know how that works.
Lorne Michaels does it himself, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
That first pick of her with the hat on was amazing, because it looked like literally like a box of like play wigs that you'd take out. Like, it looked like the hat was attached to the wig.
Yes.
There you go.
Another one that I've talked about a bunch is in Aquaman, the Mira wig.
That one is notable.
Tragic.
That color was like, what?
Well, and you can, again, like, it's, if you look at the hip hop babes, if you look at the R&B babes, they do that stuff all the time, but it looks like it's coming out of their heads. Like, that's how they do it.
But the issue is that wig had to, or it seemed like it was, wet or had the appearance of being underwater or near the ocean. But you need a specialized wig rig for that. As I learned in my hashtag wig research, Claire Danes in Romeo and Juliet wearing a wig that entire film, including special underwater wig rigs. She had like some type of treatment and some type of special material that would mimic the real behavior of follicles in the water. And it's that kind of,
they should have called Baz Luhrmann, apparently.
Yeah.
That Cameron-esque attention to detail is I think makes that a shining example in wigdom.
Well, the trick to making wig hair look like hair is that you use hair.
Sure.
Like actual human hair that came off of a human. And that's, it's tragic. I don't know if we have any of these, because I wanted to pull some of them from the Twilight franchise. I'm not sure if we got any of those in there.
Oh, I forgot.
Oh,
Twilight.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
you can just do
no
any
worries.
general Twilight image.
No, literally look up almost anything from any vampire in Twilight that isn't like Edward. They all, it is very bad and very, very tragic.
Yeah.
And again, it's like, this is a $1 billion, so much money on books, so much money that you made on the movies. Like, get a wig wrangler.
Spring for a
Like,
nice wig, but it's
yeah.
Lionsgate. They're trying to. This is all they got. They're trying to maximize that profit. You know.
True story.
Oh wow. Hello.
Oh, that's one of the. Then that's actually of the wigs.
Yeah, I was gonna
not
say
the worst one.
I know, because she didn't have to have one of the weird blonde ones. Yeah. She got
Wow.
away scot free. The rest of the Collins.
I gotta say, this has already been a journey. But is it complete? You be the judge. Please comment below with your favorite wigs, good, bad, in between. Oh man, interesting. Will we do another wig episode? Well, yeah, probably next holiday break. So we'd love to hear from you. What's your most memorable wig picks? And that's the kind of content you will get.
This is what I did to this show.
Yeah. Because
I love when people are like, when Danielle came on, everything became PC. Nah, my dude, everything
PC,
became wigs.
no, wigs. Horny and wigs.
Horny and wigs.
People complain about getting woke. We're getting wig.
Yeah. It's so weird. Everyone's like, everything. I'm the horniest person on the show. Like, what are you talking about?
Let's see. What are we talking about? I guess there's news we should talk about, allegedly. I'd rather talk about more wigs, but fine. We can briefly touch on this stuff and then get to some fan questions, and then get out of here for our holiday. While you watch us on your holiday. Nick Cage, he's an actor, he's a man, and the line is very blurry between the two of them, and it threatens to only get blurrier. The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent is a movie that we're all very excited for, and we finally saw a first trailer for it. I gotta say, I'll react first. First, the reaction face. Second, what I actually thought. It's a little more like mainstream, I guess. It's a little less weird than I was expecting. This looks like a real just mainstream comedy, which I guess I was expecting something more in the A24-ish, the being John Malkovich tone. But no, this seems like a buddy comedy about Nick Cage getting stranded on an island with a crazy guy, and I love it. I'm down for that too. I guess there's just I don't know. What do you guys think about this? Where am I alone on this, or did you wish it would be weirder?
I think I'm similar in that I did like this trailer, but I also thought conceptually when we first heard about this movie earlier this year, oh, this will be out there, this will be crazy, and instead it's just like Nicolas Cage is struggling trying to make ends meet. You almost feel like, is there a way the movie should have had Nicolas Cage like come into the movie? But it seems like we're kind of with him from the start, and we're kind of getting a straightforward portrayal of him. But that doesn't mean it looks bad. It looks fun. And I love that Pedro Pascal is playing Nicolas Cage fan number one, who's paying $1 million for time with him. But yeah, I do agree. Just a little more mainstream looking than I expected, and maybe I wanted something to be a little more bizarre. But I'm still there. There for it.
There are some struggle wigs in this trailer.
Well, Nick Cage, Lon wrote in, he couldn't join us today, but he really appreciates, I think it's the Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance Nick Cage wig. That would have been his selection. So
we'll get that in part two.
Yeah.
President's Day.
I agree. I also thought this is going to be like a little wackier, and I'm wondering if maybe they're holding back from the wacky. And not giving everything in the trailer, which would be really nice because that literally never happens. But I think that this is going to be the movie that everyone wanted Pig to be. Because
I loved Pig. I thought
I loved Pig. I loved Pig, but I think that when Pig came out, everyone was like, "Oh man,
look out,
Nicolas,
but for truffles."
Nicolas Cage is in love with a pig," and then it's like, "Oh, Nicolas Cage loves that pig." I don't think it's like as wacky as everyone wanted it to be. I think this is going to be like a lot closer to what we were hoping Pig would be. I loved Pig. I thought Pig was great.
Let's just move briefly from not weird enough to perhaps too weird, but I'm going to love it
Actual
anyways.
A24.
Actual A24, the science fiction kung fu movie, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Now, I was already excited for it, and then I saw this is directed by the Daniels, two guys named Daniel, who previously made one of my favorite films, The Swiss Army Man. So that gives you every idea you need about the tone of the Daniel Radcliffe farting corpse movie. But this is going to be some kind of multi-verse kung fu epic. They also made the Turn Down for What video, which you may recall is one of the better music videos of the last 10 years.
When you're done watching this, don't click off because we need the views. But when you're done watching this, please go watch the Turn Down for What video.
So they are they're on my ones to watch list. They keep making really, really cool, funny stuff and unique. That word gets thrown around a lot, but they definitely are. You're watching a Daniels production when you turn it on. So I'm super psyched for this. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm all over this. I mean, I love Michelle Yeoh so much. And so it's just so cool to see a movie. She doesn't get like enough things like built around her. I mean, she's great and everything. But it's like, this seems like they're like, they wanted to like give her the spotlight and get to play all these different characters and then show how much she can kick ass. I'm looking at a poster I have up for Jackie Chan Super Cop, which is the first thing I saw her in, which is so awesome. So I was very excited. I knew nothing about this movie until this trailer came out. But I was all about it. Also, I'm gonna mispronounce his name. I feel really bad, but Ki-Hugh Kwan plays her husband. That's freaking Short Round. That's Data. And James, and there's a lot of great people in this movie. Of course, James Hong, who's great in everything. But I loved seeing him in there. So yeah, I knew nothing about it, and then quickly I was like, I'm all in. And it's just funny that multiverse, it's hip, it's now, it's what's happening, guys.
Get into it. On Wednesdays, we were multiverse. Michelle Yeoh is I look respectfully, mommy. Excuse me, mommy. I am a huge fan of Michelle Yeoh, and this looks like exactly my brand of that combination of wacky and funny and it does have a little bit. It does all of those things without feeling like it's like, ooh, like irony. Like it does those things while still feeling like, no, this is like it's a sincere movie. It's just got a lot going on. And I love that so much. I am like, that's one of those ones where I'm like, I might go see that in the theater.
Yeah. I mean, if you can, if they keep the tone from Swiss Army Man, the way they described it in junkets, I remember, is the first fart makes you laugh, the last fart makes you cry. So they are masters at kind of at balancing those two tones. So can't wait for that. Another thing I can't wait for, I know you know what I'm going to say. Avatar 2. It's either Dune 2 or Avatar 2. Today it's Avatar 2. James Cameron. James Cameron. Oh, so beautiful. He gave a little interview to a medium-sized interview to Entertainment Weekly, just kind of recapping the journey it's been on. Some things I pulled that I just got excited about. One is that we're with a new clan of reef-dwelling Na'vi called the Metkaina. That it's he describes it as Bora Bora on steroids. And if the first film was all about the rainforest, the new entries are a love letter to Cameron's first fascination, the sea. So he is literally in his element this time. Element,
he wants to be a merman so bad.
So badly. Let him be a merman. And they basically did. You can see it was filmed in a 900,000 gallon tank built specifically for the sequels that could mimic gentle currents to crashing waves. And they, this is why James Cameron is the GOAT, because the studio wanted him to do dry for wet filming, where they would kind of like suspend people on wires and film it and then insert them into underwater shots. But no, he's really putting them down there. And to do that, he had to train people like 72-year-old Sigourney Weaver, who's somehow returning, although I think she died in the first one. She now has to hold her breath for 6.5 minutes at a time. And Kate Winslet did a 7.5 minute free dive. So yeah, I'm super psyched, and this only got me even more excited.
I'm like, I haven't done like the research, but I'm pretty sure that humans can only hold their breath for like 8 minutes.
David Blaine is David Blaine did like what's it, 20, 30?
Yeah, it was maybe a little bit longer than that, but like, yeah, it was. He also just like sat in ice for a while, but I forgot which one that was.
Well, I think didn't he also like get rid of the Statue of Liberty or something? Like we can't judge normal
That's
people.
Copperfield. I don't need to get into it.
Which one is the mind freak? Yeah, you have to really love the magic of movies and the magic of money and the magic of mansions to be like, I'm just gonna figure out, because you actually have to do breath control training if you want to be like, I'm going to do that for 7 to 8 minutes. You actually do have to do training for that. Like that's not a thing that humans just do naturally. You're welcome to try to hold your breath. Don't do it underwater. I'm not saying that. But if you just want to, while you're sitting in your chair where there is air around you, just try holding your breath for as long as you can, and you're gonna tap out at like 3 minutes.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say 30
that's
seconds.
how great Kate Winslet is, man.
Yeah.
Is this the new eat steamed chicken for 6 months and get superhero abs that
Yes.
actors are gonna
This
do?
to me is probably healthier and more interesting to me, is to know that everybody is actually holding their breath on camera while they, I suppose, psychically talk to each other through their ponytails. So Avatar 2, we're not ready for it, but we need it anyways. It needs to come. And you know who else does? Wilmer Valderrama.
Whoa.
I'm leaving. I'm sorry. It's 2P. I'm 2PC. Like I can't.
What do
I gotta...
you know, Spencer?
He's back, baby, and he's Zorro. He's gonna be swashbuckling his way through, Spanish California. It's the way he swashbuckled his way through the stars of 2000 to 2000.
Through young Hollywood starlets of the early knots.
So look out, world. This is if you don't know what I'm talking about, he's attached to star and produce a live action Zorro series for Disney. And you know what? Fine, why not? It seems like a weird choice, but I do think that he has the experience. I just, before we went on, I was looking at an article of Wilmer Valderrama's dating history, and he is really the Pete Davidson of his time. I mean,
Conquistador, yeah.
Conquistador. So I guess congratulations everybody involved. We'll see it on Disney Plus.
It's funny, they didn't actually say Disney Plus, it just said Disney's producing it, that you kind of feel ends up on Disney Plus. But it's been a while since we've had a big Zorro thing. I will say Mask of Zorro is a great movie. The first one Banderas did.
Super fun.
I'm up for this. We'll see. Why not? It's Zorro's shot again. I'll give it a chance here.
Yeah.
Oh, a bitch is gonna need to see a trailer. I'm sorry. Like I'm not. I very much remember like the era of the Valderrama. And it's not just because he was the dude on that 70s show, but just like he is a comedic actor. I have never taken him seriously as a serious actor because I don't think he's really done a lot of that. Like he's done a lot of being really funny. He's done a lot of exaggerated accent. He has done a lot of ladies. But I've never really seen like.
I feel like that's what Mask of Zorro was. I mean, that was kind of a winking, fun. It's like an adventure movie. It doesn't need real dramatic chops. You just gotta know how to sword fight and wink to camera.
Yeah, you just got to do that and then inspire a young Bruce Wayne before there's pearls everywhere. And then you're fine.
Yeah. Well, anyways, that was just an excuse to make a bunch of sex jokes. We have, this will be a running theme in the pre-tapes. There's a bunch of fan questions that we're just not going to get to. Let's skip over those. And,
fans got one more chance.
Yeah, one more chance. Oh, almost had time to do it. Let's go to, but I actually want to see this Matrix 4 junket that Kim got to go to. Eric, can you tell us a little more about that?
Yeah, she talked to Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss and Yahya Abdul-Mateen II and Jessica Henwick and Priyanka Chopra about returning to the Matrix and going back again. And what's we've mentioned before, Kim has written a book on the subject. What made Matrix sort of have such a lasting power? So awesome. Check out talking to those.
All right, let's jack back in, folks. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
This is the moment for you to show us what is real.
It's been almost 20 years since we last had a Matrix movie, but the franchise or the idea of the Matrix has never really gone away. So I wondered why you think it's so beloved and what you love about it.
I think it's a wonderful script, and what does that mean? Just all of the different characters and ideas. I think the films are beautiful to look at, the aesthetics, and this idea that you can have a choice to either stay in a virtual world of illusion, I guess, or seek a kind of reality. I feel like that's something that, you know, we can all relate to.
We're all trapped inside these strange repeating loops.
Billions of people just living out their lives. Oblivious.
I love the way that, as an audience member of those movies, you can watch them over and over again and understand deeper layers of what's being shared on screen. And then you can take that and make it your own, and it kind of just expand your mind to think outside of the matrix or outside of the box. And I think that's really fun. The movie has definitely opened my mind and continues to do so. Even in the making of the movies, like doing action that was so hard that I didn't, in my mind, imagine I could ever do. It definitely made me grow in a lot of different ways.
It's the mixture, the amalgamation of scale, science fiction, imagination, but at the same time, delving into questions about choice, consciousness, and you know, it's deep, and at the heart of it, it's love, but at the same time, you see all of this incredible action and stunts, and I just think it's a world that is so far away from, not too far away anymore, but so far away from our reality that it just became an obsession. At the time when it came out, I think it was so ahead of its time. There was nothing like it that you'd ever seen, and what's not to be obsessed, you know?
The Matrix sort of introduced or reintroduced conversations about what is real. Is this really happening? You know, are we in a simulation? And as time moves on, we get closer and closer to that actual possibility. You know, we spend hours every day living in virtual spaces. Even the way that we're communicating right now, there's a virtual reality, you know, alternate reality, even to the way that we're having a face-to-face conversation right now. So just the concepts in the Matrix become more and more relatable, and I think that's why people are willing to go on the ride.
If you want the truth, Neo, you're going to have to follow me.
When you first watched the finished film, what most kind of impressed you about the movie?
I thought this movie, compared to the previous ones, was hopeful, bright, and the love of Trinity and Neo was at the heart of it. And I think that really stood out to me, is the power of love, the power of fate, and what happens when they come together. I have chills right now. Like that really, really got me in the movie.
She believed in me. It's my turn to believe in her.
There's so much heart in this, you know, in this film, and you know, I want to be careful not to also downplay the action and the technology and the surrealism and the blending of worlds that people come to, you know, gravitate to the Matrix for. But surprisingly, there's a lot of heart in this film, and I think that's really necessary for this time around. You know, Lana is a different artist this time around. And this film is also a reflection of where she is as an artist. We get to see what that world looks like 20 years later, and I think that's very exciting.
Maybe this isn't the story we think it is.
There's so much excitement for this movie and what might happen beyond this film, and I wondered if there were future movies, what you might like to explore in those.
Yeah, that's a Lana Wachowski question. I mean, if she wanted to do another, you know, story and wanted to include me, I would be honored and grateful. You know, I'd like to see what happens to Trinity and Neo. And the world.
Totally, of course.
I would love to see where Sati's character would go and what would her purpose be, especially after this movie.
I think in terms of where you go next, I think that would depend on how it's received by the world. Based on that, is there a need to, you know, to continue on, or did the film do what it was intended to do? So although that's a very exciting conversation, you know, I'm really excited about putting this one out first.
Time to fly.